When I heard about this case, this was an individual wanted for homicide out of Toledo. I called my union counterpart in Toledo. I said, hey, good news, we have your guy. Your guy committed a murder, chose to fled to our town. I'll tell you right now, the wrong town to come to if you murder somebody. Our SWAT team will go out looking for you.
Welcome back to TheParkeJones. On March 24th, 2025, the body of 13-year-old Keimani Latigue was found in an abandoned home in Toledo, Ohio. From day one, Keimani's case raised a lot of questions, and this outcome is absolutely devastating. The case has been moving very quickly, so we're covering some of the latest updates, but before we get into that, let's do a quick recap. Keimani went missing on March 18th under mysterious circumstances. According to her grandmother Dorothy and father Darnell, Keimani was left home alone on March 16th while Dorothy went to work. That night, Keimani called her father because she was scared to be home alone.
Keimani's father says he saw his daughter late Sunday night after she called him afraid to be home alone.
I came over here because she said that it seemed like somebody was trying to break into the house. So I sat for an hour, me and my cousin, we sat over here, and we left around like 12:30ish.
When Dorothy came home around 9:40 a.m. on March 17th, she expected Keimani to be at school, but the home was in disarray.
Her grandmother says she came home from work and the door was unlocked.
It was Monday morning.
Okay.
And when I came home, she wasn't here. Of course, she was supposed to have been on her way to school, but according to the way that the house was set up, once I got here, because it was in complete disarray, she wasn't here. So I called the school so that I can talk to her, and they said that she wasn't there.
She says Keimani's keys were at the house along with her glasses. Her grandmother says the 13-year-old can't see without them. She also told me the stove was on and you could smell gas.
Other than her and I, it's just the two dogs in the house, so who cut it on? So that was kind of suspicious. Then her glasses and her underclothes were by the couch in the front room. Her pajamas were in the dining room and the floor.
Here's the thing. There's no way Keimani could have gone missing on March 17th because her friends and basketball coach came out and said that Keimani was at school that day. And a news article confirms that police weren't called to the home until March 18th. All that to say, Dorothy and Darnell's story fell apart from the beginning, and as a result, unresolved family issues came to the surface. Now, I covered a lot of this in the last video, so check it out if you haven't already, but some of the issues raised by family members were allegations of abuse and allegations of family members getting rid of evidence, predators being around Keimani, people's criminal history has been shared, and there's even been an allegation that a mother and daughter shared a man romantically. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, but this family drama is similar to what we saw in the Naziyah Harris case out in Detroit. So let's get into our updates. For the majority of Keimani's disappearance, the Toledo police kept their cards close to their chest and didn't come out with a ton of detail. And given the alleged circumstances surrounding the disappearance, the public felt like there should have been at least a news conference. The silence was deafening, and as a result, it really fueled internet rumors. But on March 24th, the Toledo Police Department announced abduction charges against Keimani's father, Darnell. We then learned that Darnell was on the run, and there were even rumors that he may have unalived himself. This was a shocking update because Keimani's biological mother, Tiara Caston, had said that Darnell was fully cooperative with the police. Regardless, this revelation blew up the entire case. This was the same man who went on the news with this fake story. Not that anyone believed him from the beginning, but this is also the same man who helped with the initial search efforts, passing out flyers. A true wolf in sheep's clothing. A few hours later, it was then announced that police were at an abandoned home on Miami Street. Community and family members stood outside in the cold for hours waiting for confirmation from the police, and when Dorothy showed up, tensions were high. She wasn't welcomed and almost got jumped.
Where you been at? Y'all need to stop her. Cut that bitch.
Cause she know.
Everybody. Dorothy, you gonna get your ass whooped. Not that out. No, that ain't happening.
That's crazy.
I ain't got nothing to do with this. How about that? No, I did not. No, I did not. No. You said Monday she came up with yeah. No, you shut the fuck up.
You got this baby. You got this baby. You got this baby, honey. You got this baby. No, baby, no. No, you got this baby. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Okay. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. I'm not gonna keep playing with you, bro. You're not gonna keep playing with me, bro. You're not gonna keep playing with me, bro. You're not gonna keep playing with me, bro. And I got you. And I got you. You know we got that bitch. You already know we got her, bitch. And like I said, whatever the fuck, this will be reciprocated, period. I don't give no about how the none of y'all feel. And I didn't have shit with it. Flash. I'm not lying. Watch out. I ain't stupid.
Dorothy, you might not have nothing to do with it, but you know what's going on.
No, the I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do, Dorothy.
Thanks for passing judgment.
No, that's crazy as fuck.
You did that to your own grandbaby.
Own grandbaby.
You told me I was supposed to be aborted and that you gave me life anyway, so I wanted to do something for you. I let you see your first fucking grandchild come into this world, and this is what you do to her?
For some context, Keimani's family is heavily divided, and most people in the family have an issue with Dorothy. A lot of this was due to past issues, but in this particular situation, they felt like Dorothy didn't do enough to protect Keimani, and that she may have known more than what she's been saying. And this is understandable because sometimes Dorothy says things that make you scratch your head. For example, she told the media that without a doubt the body in the home was Keimani's prior to the police confirming it. And at the start of the investigation, Dorothy even said the underwear Keimani was wearing was missing. Keimani was old enough to stay home alone, therefore old enough to dress herself. So what situation did they have going on that made Dorothy aware of the underwear Keimani was wearing? So while everyone waited outside, Keimani's mother, Tiara, shared her thoughts.
Police took pictures on the second floor of this abandoned home where they believe they found 13-year-old Keimani Latigue dead. Her mother is devastated.
I just want to know if it's my baby. They still not telling me nothing. It takes nothing. It's nothing to take a picture. It's nothing to, you know what I'm saying, let me know when the coroner's bringing her out so I can see if that's indeed my baby.
Keimani's mother recalled the last time she talked to her daughter.
I seen her on the 15th. Her dad brought her down to my house. And apparently my mother gave him permission. And honestly, it was just me loving on my kid. You know, we played video games.
Good times, she says she'll miss sharing with her daughter.
There's no reason my daughter would ever be over here. My daughter go to school, go home. Go to school, go home. She go play her basketball, come home.
Now, it's been alleged that Dorothy keeps criminals and crackheads in her circle. It was alleged that one of the men she has a friendship with shot her in the leg, and another has a lengthy criminal history that includes crimes committed against children. This was all in the last video, but Ruben Mitchell on Facebook broke it all down, and let me tell you, Ruben has his foot on Dorothy's neck. And the more you learn about Dorothy, the more you dislike her. The allegations are loud, and they are coming from people who know her very well. We all grieve differently, but something about Dorothy that everyone talks about is that she never shows much emotion. She didn't show much emotion when she was outside the home on Miami Street, which is why she almost got jumped and why people were begging the police to arrest her on the spot. And a lot of people want Dorothy arrested. So, a couple hours after Keimani's body was removed from the home, a video circulated that showed Dorothy being escorted from her home in handcuffs. People celebrated because they thought she was arrested, but hours later, we learned that was not the case. And in an interview the day after Keimani's body was found, Dorothy basically says that she's smarter than all of us and she orchestrated the whole thing.
First question for you, yesterday, lots of things was going on. We want to know specifically at your home, there was a lot of speculation online that you were being arrested, but when we checked with police, that was not the case. So can you further clarify on exactly what did happen yesterday at your home?
Well, I was called and told that there was a mob of people in front of my house. They were angry. It was more or less the people that were here earlier waiting to see if it was Keimani that was in the home. And basically some people from the neighborhood had contacted me and said that there was a mob in front of my house and they were talking about what they were going to do to me once I came home. So the police, the detective, said that she would have a unit come out and help me get my things and more or less escort me off the property. I asked to be handcuffed just so they can get the away from my property.
Are you scared?
So no, I was never arrested. I was taken downtown, but I was never arrested.
So let me tell you this. Dorothy didn't ask to be in handcuffs. According to Toledo police, it is in their policy to have placed her in handcuffs. So like many things that Dorothy says, it sounds good for a little bit until you pressure test it and then you get the truth. Now, this same day, March 25th, we learned that Darnell was apprehended in Columbus, Ohio, and some disturbing details were shared with the public for the first time.
This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, had her hand cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town. I understand some of your editors won't let you print the word animal or view the word animal. If people are more offended to how I'm describing him, how he treated that girl, that's on them, not on me.
This video has caused a lot of controversy, but a lot of people like the authority that came from the Columbus police because they feel like the Toledo police had not applied enough pressure. Yet the Toledo police believe the details shared compromised the integrity of the investigation.
Releasing could be true details, could be false details. I'm not going to say one way or the other. But he's releasing details that somehow he became knowledge of that affects another police department's case, another police department's investigation. Important facts that actually allows us to confirm suspects, to rule out suspects, to do things in that investigation. Those are details that we would never release in an investigation.
So, look, in a case where there is already so much going on, this public beef between police departments just derail us further from the task at hand, which is getting justice for Keimani. I hear the concerns from the Toledo Police Department, but this was really a conversation they should have had offline. The public doesn't need to be dragged in it, especially when there are family members alleging that Keimani was alive for most of her disappearance. All that to say, the Toledo Police Department needs to worry about what's going on in their own backyard. All right, so back to Dorothy's interview. We're still running into a lot of contradictions and discrepancies, and she still lacks emotion. A question people want to know is whether or not there was abuse in the home.
There's also comments, and we're just trying to address those and get those addressed, but there's comments online and speculation again that, Keimani, her home situation, she was abused. What do you have to say to that?
Okay, abuse in whose eyes? Because she was not abused. Yes, she was chastised whenever she was wrong or did things wrong. Other than that, she was not abused. She was not just whooped for no reason or just because I felt like it. I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them, and you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that. So she didn't have like bruises all over.
How long ago was that when they came into your home?
I would say The latest, it was approximately 7 months ago.
Dorothy says no. But then the very next day, a friend and former teacher shared their perspective.
I spoke to a classmate of Keimani's who says she tried to tell a teacher, and I spoke to a teacher who says she tried to tell CSB. In both instances, the person they tried to help is now gone.
She came to school with bruises on her arms.
That's 7th grader Keimani Fisher, a classmate of Keimani's from her most recent school, Spring Elementary. Fisher says she would often see Keimani come into class with visible markings, so she and other students decided to say something to a teacher.
And she said she would deal with it, but I don't think nothing happened.
TPS representatives say they have no records of abuse against Keimani to either CSB or TPD. But it's also not the first time someone has raised concerns about what was going on inside Latigue's home. Kayleen Harabedian was her 6th grade English teacher at Bennett Venture Academy, the last school she attended before spring. Harabedian says she also spotted visible markings and bruises on Keimani.
It's hard because especially in a role like education, your day doesn't end at 3:30. You take these things home with you. They weigh on you. I'm a parent myself, and I tried my best to make sure that she was removed from that environment.
Harabedian claims she put in multiple calls to CSB.
The question on whether or not there was abuse remains unanswered for now, but what do you believe? And like I've said before, Dorothy says things that sound good in the moment, but then when you pressure test it, you get the truth. So this is where we wrap. Again, this case has been moving very fast, and a lot of it has played out online. In the midst of the chaos, we've got to learn more about Keimani. She was loved by all her friends, and her teachers enjoyed having her as a student. She was also really smart and enjoyed basketball, and despite any challenges she may have been experiencing at home, she was known to be kind and very compassionate. In fact, she was actually set to win a kindness award at school. This story has been heartbreaking, and at times I've had to step away because it's too much. Keimani's 14th birthday is this Friday. Let that sink in. We do know that there were people who cared about her and tried to get her help, but there are people and systems that failed her. And I think at a certain point as a society, we have to decide whether or not we care about children. A lot of us do, but we keep running into these same situations where our children are being taken from us too soon by people they trusted the most. With that being said, justice for Keimani isn't just putting Darnell behind bars. It's also doing a thorough investigation of these agencies that failed her. Keimani deserved so much more as a whole, and we all failed her. And this is an unpopular Park opinion, but this is why I believe some children would be better off in foster care. Many of you always talk about the bad things that might happen in foster care, but look what we have here. That one family member from the interview is allegedly a daughter of Dorothy's, and in the interview, she mentions that as children, they were split up. So all that to say, why would it make sense to place Keimani with a woman who barely raised her own kids? So, let's continue to pray for Keimani and her family members who actually did right by her. Let's also pray for her classmates and her friends, because these kids stood up for Keimani at the very beginning of the investigation. So, this case is heavy, but we have to keep applying pressure to ensure we get justice. If you'd like to support the channel, please comment, like, and subscribe. I'm your host, TheParkeJones, and I'll catch you on the next one.